Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Newsflash, asshole! I've been hearing it the entire goddamn time!
And welcome back to the West of Waterford podcast. Did you miss us? No, of course you did. Or maybe you didn't. My name is Josh, and beside me on the couch here, I have Brittany, looking very matronly, although I'm afraid to say that now, considering what you've been through. How are you doing, Britt?
Looking very matronly.
A little bit, yeah.
Why? Just because I have a blanket on my lap? And
Yes, you're reminding me of my dear grandmother. Why does my voice go like that at the start of every podcast? I affect it for some reason. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cut it out, you. But,
oh, Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy, who are those terrible people?
Oh, I'm just cozy. You know, I'm just tucked in for the evening.
Good.
I'm still very tired from my last weekend.
Your last weekend, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am now sitting beside a confirmed 1-1, or 1-2, was it? Killer. And take a bow there, Brittany. You've made the Second Amendment people very proud as of this day.
I made my papa very proud. I went out hunting for the first time in my life.
You went out hunting.
At the tender age of 31. Although usually you get kids doing that around, 10 when you can first start hunting. But yeah. No, it was a really good experience. Not too bad considering the first time I ever shot a high-powered rifle on a long range was
on a cold and windy moor.
It was only September 8th actually. I confirmed that. Looking back at some old pictures, because I actually scoped myself on the first day. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, you had that horrid
it wasn't horrid.
It was pretty abominable. Abominable.
There was a little line right.
I can't say that word.
Right at the bridge of my nose where I had.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to really look through a scope yet, and I think I wasn't shooting the rifle I was using. I was shooting another rifle of my dad's that has a little bit more of a kick to it. Anyway.
Yeah. So you have one confirmed kill, and did you name it before you killed it?
No.
No.
You don't have time for that.
You don't have time for that. Oh.
Do you want me to tell a story, the hunting story?
Well, I want to ask you a couple of questions. First and foremost, what did you kill?
So it was what you call a depredation tag. So it's basically the Arizona Game and Fish. It's when an area has become overpopulated with a species of animal that shouldn't really be there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it was for cow elk.
And these animals are invasive.
Technically speaking, yes, they are. In fact, my dad actually knows somebody who their grandfather was the one that they're called. Elk are native to like the Rocky Mountains. I think they're called Rocky Mountain elk, the ones that we have here in Arizona.
So basically, you shot a bunch of settlers.
They're naturally not from here, but they were transported on a train and released from train carts back in the early 1900s.
Oh, really?
Around here.
Okay, that's interesting, actually.
And the only reason...
I thought a train crashed and they all just kind of got out of there.
No.
Got out of Dodge.
And the only reason that... so I happened to be near... just outside of Wilson.
Winslow, I think.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. Winslow and Payson area. An hour and a half from Payson. Payson's actually kind of the middle.
So kind of northeastern Arizona.
Yeah, it's called the Mogollon Rim.
Uh-huh.
And we were there, and we were technically on, there's a ranch, like a bar, it's called like the Bar T Ranch or something.
Was every ranch in history in the West called the Bar T?
Yeah, right.
I'm going after them Bar T, boys. Round me up a posse.
So
all right, boys. We're going for it.
So it's ranching area, but it's also a Hopi reservation.
Oh, sounds hopeless.
So you have to kind of go.
Oh, it's up in the res.
No, I mean, well, yeah, but I mean, no. What it is what they do in this area is if you look at a map, it actually is checkerboarded. So there's no one area. So it's checkerboard. You have one area Hopi and the other area is ranching. So it's all checkerboarded in the area.
I got you.
So technically so you have to kind of know where you're at. So my dad had an app that kind of told you where you're at because you can't drive on Hopi Reservation. Like
really?
Anyway, you had to like get permission. Well, it was a big process, you know. So we ended up getting like leftover tags that you can actually do when tags don't get picked up. It is considered a really actually high. The difficulty level is high on this hunt. So my dad is friends with this guy, and his family are all big hunters too, and they've been hunting probably up there for 15, 20 years. And they've been doing that particular cow elk hunt for 10 plus years, and they got it down to a very like tactical military operation where like they have like radios with earpieces and throat mics so you can whisper, and so basically what they have operation is that they know the roads really well up there, and they know the trails that you can go on.
Better than the elk do.
And they have because you know when
the elk don't have apps or radios.
Maybe I shouldn't use names. I don't know. Anyway, the father of this family, he it's a hobby of his. Like he enjoys
it's a hell of a hobby.
It's called glassing.
Glassing.
Where when you're talking about binoculars, glass. GLASS.
Okay, that's probably the last. That's a confusing thing to call it, I think. But go on.
That's just what it's called.
Okay.
So he enjoys glassing, which just means you're scouting for animals.
In Glasgow, glassing is a different pastime, I believe.
What is that? Breaking off an end of a bottle and shoving it up in someone's diaphragm?
Exactly. Well, usually in your face, the old Glasgow smile, as it were. But when you're hunting, glassing is binoculars, not a very rudimentary way of hunting. I do have a question for you. You did say this is a very difficult style of hunt, but you did mention to me earlier when you got back from the hunt that it's a lot of very flat land. So I take it that in the sense of hunting something like cow elk, as you put it, that the difficulty of the hunt is not conducive to the terrain as much as it's like it's a lot of flat land, and well, they're going to see you coming. They don't really need like apps and radios to be like, "Argh!" And then they all kind of banter. I mean, what's their reaction when they see you coming?
What
do they do? Paint me a picture.
Okay, can I tell you about the day one? Because I got my elk on day one, but we went out. So we went out in the morning. We went out. We only had 2 days of hunt. Actually,
sitting at the perimeter with a cigarette in your mouth.
We only had 2 days. It was the hunt is for a week, but you know everybody, you know, you kind of try and get there, and everybody had work on Monday, so
yeah.
Anyway, so day one we get up at, oh gosh,
the crack of dawn.
Yeah, no, you really do. I think we're up at 3. I was up at 3:30.
God, no.
So yeah, you get up.
And just not sleep.
So that way you want to be. Because the people that need to go up on top of the hill, on top of the mountain, to be looking down at some of the sites, they have them. Mm-hmm. They had they actually had three different areas of people were on certain peaks, looking down at other areas.
Peekaboo, I see you from my peak. Yes.
So
glassing from the peaks. Okay.
Yeah. So
this is coordinated.
Yeah. So they're calling or radioing us.
It's ridiculous for a bunch of animals that don't have an IQ level to know what's going on.
Well, it's hard to find them because, like I said, it's flat land.
Yes.
With a little bit of enough of some ravines, but that sometimes people from the mountaintop can't see them. So there's certain points where we have to glass certain areas that's a blind spot for them. Mm-hmm. You know, and so forth. But the reason it's so difficult is because it's flat, but it's also covered in cedar trees. And I don't know if you're familiar with what cedar trees look like. They're actually not trees in the sense of like that they have a big trunk and there's enough space.
Oh, more like brush?
It's just a giant bush and brush.
Look at me, I'm a regular woodsman. So it's a lot of kind of low level terrain in terms of cover.
Yeah.
Are cow elk, like, are they taller than the brush, or are they...
No, they wouldn't be taller because it's basically still like a big tree, but it's like a tree top on the ground. So
can they blend into it well?
If they're not moving, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, especially maybe 200 yards away.
Yeah, so when we were up that morning, because the thing was, we were kind of just... I wasn't priority because there was there was technically... Yeah, there were like 5 kids that were there trying to get a cow out too. Like kids, like there was like a
what age here?
One was like 17, and the others were like between
teenagers.
10. The other ones were like 10 and 12.
I'm gonna go bag me a big one.
They didn't really talk to me at all, but anyway.
Oh, they were all intimidated. The 17-year-old came over to you with like wilted flowers.
No, the only time
I picked these for you.
The only time one of them said something to me is when I walked in after skinning part of the elk.
Well, let's maybe wait till we get to that point.
And I had some blood on my pants, and he goes, "You got something?" I'm like,
"You on your period?"
No. Yeah, he has a
You bleeding from your cooter? I know about things like them such.
That's what a 10-year-old sounds like.
Well, I mean, redneck 10-year-old. Maybe he's seen more things in his life to make him a little older.
So the morning was pretty cool because we weren't. So Trevor had the 3 little kids. I should be using names, maybe, I don't know. So one of the sons had his 3 kids with them.
Okay.
And so they're kind of going first pursuit. It's kind of like lined up like wherever you're at, or wherever you're at. But as he put it, we jumped them, which means he scared them. So what happened was, it's hard because he's with 3 young kids, and so they're kind of coming up, and they scared a group of elk at about 200 yards away from him when they're trying to get that close to him. And they started running down in our direction. That's when my dad and I got a radio call saying, "Hey, they're coming this way. They're running to the water tank there."
Yeah.
So it was actually pretty exciting. So like my dad's like, okay. So we get in the car and we start driving in pursuit of them,
scaring the elk and scaring the elderly. So
we actually did get out, and at one point I was like 100. I was like, what did I tell you? Like 150 yards away from this herd of elk that were, but they were on high alert because they had just been scared.
Okay.
So I mean, I lined up. So now, I had one in my scope for like a second, but I wasn't going to take a shot. I've been very irresponsible.
So here's the question I do want to ask, just to kind of move along there now, because now you're out in the field with these elk, and they're all just there having a
that was pretty cool.
Pretty. I mean, I'd say. I mean, I doubt it's like if you're out there with a bunch of cows. I don't think it's going to be like a bunch of dairy cows or anything who are very curious and they come over to you and they're like, "Argh." I mean, cows got to be the stupidest things on the planet. They must be the easiest things in the world to kill if you really want to, because you'll be like, here, and they'll come up to you.
Actually, it's funny you make that point because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, because you're in an area where there's a lot of cattle ranching, so we saw a lot of cows, but obviously they look a lot different because I think purposely, because elk are kind of like a dark brown. Most of the cows there are like a red orange.
Oh, okay,
coat.
Yeah, I got you.
So maybe they did that on purpose, or they're black, or they're like black Angus. But here's the thing though, I found that kind of interesting because I go, isn't that just so weird how like I guess after so many years, centuries of being domesticated, cattle have just lost that like instinct to be that instinct of like, hey, I'm a predator. I mean, sorry, that instinct of like, hey, I'm a prey animal. I should be worried, because I mean, undomesticated animals like deer
kind of manufactured
and
that way,
elk are going to be very flighty, and they're like always going to be a little bit alert because they know every moment they know that's always blazing in their head that they're Well,
otherwise it is the hunting would literally be called glassing, because you would walk out there and just be like, I don't know, stupid, like the Duck Dynasty guys with their duck calls, just have an elk call.
Do you just pronounce dynasty as dynasty?
Dynasty, tomato, whatever. Tomato pants over there.
Tomato pants?
Well, you had blood in your pants. I know the things that you've been eating. They're called tampons. I know where you can get them. You want to come with me in my Toyota Camry? But anyway,
okay.
Yes. But yeah, no, I mean, it would quite literally be glassing a cow was the point I was going to make. So I want you to kind of set the scene here of the moment you ended a life, as it were. I would like you to just kind of, from the moment you spotted the one, like you're in a nightclub and you see the one from across the room.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's not the feeling at all.
I know. I doubt it would be. You're not about to shoot across a night. I hope you're not about to shoot across a nightclub. But or maybe actually, you know what? Considering the people who frequent nightclubs, maybe you should shoot across a nightclub. I don't know. I don't care. But I want you to kind of set the scene when you saw the one. Did it like look at you and like wink in a kind of like an old Western kind of like, he looked at me, he winked, and then I knew I'll be eating him tonight. Kind of what happened? I mean, I'm sure you had the rifle set up and everything. So you picked out your guy, and what happened next?
Well, it's a girl, but anyway.
Girl, okay. Cal, yeah.
All I know is that from that whole nightclub thing you're just saying, that this is gonna be found in some like archival like audio clips. Because,
part of a manifesto or something.
No, part of like getting the history on Josh Mulcahy and the massacre at the Scottsdale club or something.
Oh yeah, because I go clubbing. Yes, I go clubbing.
No, you go on a mass murder spree, shooting the place up.
You know what? I mean,
and then, like, you heard it here, folks.
You heard it here, yeah.
He said it here that he wanted to.
I don't think it'd be
okay to shoot a place up.
I really don't think it'd be a nightclub. I think it'd have to go in the old American tradition and go for a school. Of course not. It's called tongue in cheek. But Brittany, yes. So you spot this cow elk.
Okay, are you gonna let me tell it or what?
I would like you to tell it now. Go ahead. Go.
All right. Okay. Well, then that means you got to skip to the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of let me finish the morning one. The morning one actually ended up I get on the side of the road, can't get a shot, and then and my dad's like, we got to move it. So we get back in the car because they start running, and so like we're actually at one point we're in a car chase with them, kind of parallel to them. And so that was pretty exciting, but it was all going too fast for us to take a shot. It would have been like, that would have been a crazy, anyway, because like really you shouldn't take a shot. You shouldn't shoot you can't just carelessly shoot at a group. You kind of have to get one isolated so you.
Love the fact you're in a car chase with elk. Oops. Yeah, it's just hanging out the window. Yeah. Come on, elk.
Anyway, so we stopped. We took a...
Damn! I missed. Missed again. Damn it! Crafty mother. Oh, God.
All right, you're making this long... Am I laughing? No.
I'm sure somebody is. Somewhere.
Yeah,
they're very lonely. Angry loners.
Anyway, are you gonna let me continue?
I would just want to know about the
okay,
the actual
I'll tell
murder.
You about the
murder.
It's not a murder, Joshua.
You took a life.
It's not a murder.
Okay, murder.
Anyway, I'm not gonna try and justify it. I'm sure some people are a little upset, and maybe it's like, I can't believe you do something like that.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna talk from that angle, let me just say that. I don't think I'd ever go hunting, personally. I don't think I could.
Yeah, but most people wouldn't work at a slaughterhouse, too.
That's true. I understand these things. That's the thing. And let me just speak for the casual kind of person, I guess, because, like...
That wouldn't hunt, but they don't
but I
hate
understand
it.
It's not that I disagree with hunting. I don't disagree with hunting. I understand that these animals do need to be culled every now and then. I understand it's actually to their species' benefit more than anything, but... I just don't think I could take a life, unlike an ice-blooded killer sitting on the couch staring at me with the same eyes. Oh my God, she's looking at me like she looked at that elk. Let me give you I know now that, look, elk have to have like the kindest eyes on the planet, and I know kindness doesn't work with you, because, you killed an elk, and
you don't really think about that.
Eyes.
I don't know. Okay, so it is kind of one of those things, like, I trained... I did a lot of practice and training with my dad beforehand. Not like anything too extensive, but my dad...
Guys running across a range dressed as elk on all fours, just taking pot shots at him. But go on.
No.
I know you trained. You had the scar to prove it.
I don't have a scar now.
No, you had the scar to prove it.
A scar is something that's left.
Oh,
there.
You know what I mean. Stop playing
into
semantic. The cut to prove it then. So you cut your teeth on the brim of your nose, but go on anyway.
All right. Well, so you have to skip to that afternoon. Mm-hmm. We went back out because there's really only 2 times a hunt. You can only, my dad said the rule is like usually your day, sometimes your hunt is done by 8 a.m. Like, but we ended up going, and I kind of asked about, us going out in the afternoon. So, and we did. The plan is that you could go out, kind of, between 2 and before the sun sets. So we kind of went out that afternoon. But the reason that's kind of difficult is because they're what you call they're bedding, so they're laying down usually, because the reason you like to get them early in the morning is because they're grazing at that time.
Yeah.
And they haven't quite, but then when you go out
So
in the
basically
afternoon,
shooting them at breakfast.
So
or brunch.
Or dinner.
Dinner. Oh. Dinner and a show. Go on.
So anyway, we get out, and it honestly, it was only an hour. The process just took an hour.
The process?
No, well, the finding it.
Oh, okay.
Finding the.
I thought we were out. An hour later, we were back. He was tied to the hood of the car. Not a problem.
No.
I'm
There's a lot of work. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start. I guess I'll just get to it.
Yeah.
So we get out of the vehicle around 4:00 because we did just sit there on the side of the road until we got a call saying we found something. We're not just gonna aimlessly walk around if we have somebody that's our eyes in the sky, you know. So. Actually, yeah, you're not allowed to use. I read about a couple things. There's some technologies that you shouldn't use.
Like helicopters.
You should.
I mean, that's going to scare the elk away.
You should hunt fairly, and using drones is one thing that they prevented.
Fairly. Okay, if you want to hunt fairly, let's give the elk a gun and teach him how to use it. That'll be fair, and that I want to see on like ESPN if that's the case. If just a big elk carrying around a like battle mount on his back. But so. The big thing is, because we kind of need to move along.
Okay, well then stop interrupting me.
So I just need to know, you set up. Was it was it like that scene in Leon with your father kind of like, he's like, never, no, always dressed down, darker than the floor.
No, okay. Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know about Leon? Come on.
I do. I just don't know what you're referring to, and yes, and no, my dad's not French.
I know.
And anyway, So we get out, or walking around at 4:00. We kind of get the call, leave our truck, and start walking towards the direction. And then about an hour later, a little less than an hour, we were in close pursuit, like knowing we were gonna find elk.
No cars needed this time.
No, we were out in the.
We were in the shit. That was the first.
Yeah, we were far from the highway at this point. You could still kind of see it, but. Yeah. So we're walking. My dad's getting radio in his ear. It is a lot of it, and it was perfect. It was my dad was just like that. He's like that was the perfect stalk. That's like the best stalk I've ever been on. Like we're meaning that you're closing in close on the elk without them even knowing you there. And we had a lot of advantages because a lot of challenges that the other guys were getting is like the wind kind of changing direction on them. Mm-hmm. And I mean it's kind of common sense, but you don't. Because they smell so well, you can't have the wind traveling down from
downwind.
You to them.
You want to be downwind of them. Yeah.
So it was perfect because we had the wind in our face and the sun on our back, and I never actually understood like the sun being in your favor, because you don't want the sun in your eyes, but that way the sun was in their eyes.
But that's what the Japanese did at Pearl Harbor. They attacked from the west. They attacked from the west with the sun rising in the east. Oh wait, okay, that's the wrong way around. No wonder they were flying planes into buildings.
Can you stop?
Oops, I got that wrong. But go on.
Anyway, so I never thought about it. I actually didn't really put the two together until my dad kind of explained. He's like, yeah, like they're never gonna. The reason they're never gonna see you is because they're not gonna want to look up and blind themselves in the sunlight. So they never saw us coming. They never heard us coming, and And the biggest thing is they didn't smell us. Mm. So. At first, I sat down, and it's literally just called shooting off your butt. And it's where you have a bipod on your rifle, and I had a bipod that extended down, so it's extended down about 2.5 feet or so I could sit up with it. Yeah. So I did sit down, and we were about 300 yards away, and I actually took the time to dial up, which is called like. Where you dial up to account for how much the bullet's going to drop.
So I have a question.
So the rifle's zeroed in, but at certain yardage you need to change your minutes per angle is what it's called.
Now I do have a question. How do you estimate 300 yards? You don't have any way to actually tell you accurately, but how would you estimate?
My dad has range finding binoculars out with us.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're pretty good at guessing, but he has range finding binoculars. Okay. You kind of set it on something, and I just figured, like knowing kind of where you are would be very important to
I mean, especially if you're shooting a rifle, you got to know the range of the rifle, and you got to know kind of, okay, I'm in within range, but that would be hard, especially across flat ground. I think would be very, with no, I mean, if there's no distinguishing kind of markers on the ground, I think it would be very difficult to do. But if he has the glasses, I mean, I'm just interested.
That's why
he
had range finding glasses.
Yeah.
He had range finding binoculars, so he could just say they're at blah 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 that many yards, and I'm like, okay, well they're just. At that point, it was amazing. The biggest thing, it was amazing that the guy scouting for us even saw them, because they were laying down.
Ooh.
And all he just saw was a flicker of an ear movement from like 8 miles away. It was kind of crazy. Maybe it was like 5 miles, but still, it was amazing. He just saw a flicker of an ear. And then the thing that makes it kind of hard in the afternoon, sometimes as the sun is going down, you start to get the mirage effect.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes it more difficult to find movement, because you're seeing so much movement from the heat. Anyway, so that really, it's kind of a lot of credit goes to the people that are guiding you into it. You know, they take there's a massive part that they play in it. So
you're a support team, basically.
Yeah, so they're your intel.
Your intel for hunting a bunch of cows. I'm never going to get over this.
But I mean, that's kind of how.
He's a slippery bastard.
It was kind of an interesting first hunt, but the success rate is very low on this hunt. It's like you almost like that's how you have to do it.
How many tramplings?
Trampolines?
Yes.
Trampolines?
Trampoline. No, trampolines. Like, how many times have the elk ever kind of like gotten themselves into a battle position and kind of just charged the hunter?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's a shame. I kind of want the animals to win that one. That would make it a fair fight. How many elk can you take down before they all rush you?
Hunting is not about a fight. You're a predator and they're a prey animal. Like, that's like saying you want like...
Okay, make it a fair fight. Leap out of a bush and bite into their neck. That's going to make it fair. But go on anyway, yes.
Anyway,
so you had him about 300 yards away.
So yeah, I had him about 300 yards away, but... I think we decided to get up and move a little closer. When I moved a little closer, we got down again, and it's because like I kind of had my sight, and I was in the scope, and I didn't see one that was off. That was one that was on its own on the side, and they started to kind of move a little bit. They weren't on any alert. They just started moving behind another tree. So we had them move. So it was kind of like my dad was just like. I was pretty calm. My dad was kind of freaking out a lot more than me.
Don't lose him, Brittany.
No, he wasn't like that calm. He was
we'll get the next one.
No, I just said my dad was freaking out more than me, and then you do that.
But that's your dad freaking out to me.
No,
I'm just
that
calm,
isn't.
But I'm also freaking out. Can you tell?
No, that's not my dad at all. You don't know my dad.
Usually, well, if I see your dad's freaking out, he's usually storming off to another room of the house. I don't think that would be conducive in the hunting environment. He just stormed out.
After our like morning of chasing them around, I saw him. He was pretty shaky.
Oh. The master hunter.
No, that's the thing is I think it actually. Anyway, getting to it again. So we closed the gap a little bit more. I get up because out of necessity because we needed to move.
Yeah.
And then. So I actually kind of stopped two times before I actually got my final shot in. So on the third time I sit down again, and. Once again, I kind of have my eyes on these two that are further away. At this point, they're 200 yards. So I changed my scope back down to 0, and I know they're just aim 3 inches, a little lower, or taking into that account that's going to drop a little lower.
So you're.
But then right up, as I'm aiming up a little bit higher.
So up 3 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right as I'm looking at that, my dad just like I think he just like nudges my shoulders like, Britt, there's one right there, like 100 yards away. And it's just that scream whisper, He's like,
it's the one.
And I was like, oh. And then
I had an orgasm, and then I swung my big dick around. My gun, my extension of my dick.
I was really quiet. I was very concentrated, and so I was like, I got it.
Shh, she's hunting.
So I'm like, I got it, and then I get in, and it's like perfect because he's like it's like 100 yards, like perfect broadside. So I like
the cow looked up.
No, I know that was the thing. It was like, shh. So like,
shut your mouth.
It was like 150 yards away. give or take a few yards or whatever. That time it was, he didn't sound like he range found it to be like, yes, it's 150 yards away. It's like
it's like it's close.
Yeah,
I can smell it.
So so normally something like a shot that far away, like when you hear a story, you're like, oh, but it's more to it. There's more to it than that. It's like the fact that we closed in that gap that close made it almost like more like more skillful than like taking a shot from further away in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Because you should have saw me. I kind of was like leaving the old man behind because I was like, it's like I kind of, because like your instincts kind of kick in. It's like
hunting's for the young, old man.
No, your instincts.
Tally-ho!
Once we're in pursuit of them, I can see them. You don't need a radio in your ear anymore. It's kind of like my instincts kicked in. I knew what I needed to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like we were actually like I was like getting down really low, walking very quietly. You know how like when you see it like done with like military, where you kind of get down in that like a little bit of a crouch walk.
Oh, like a scuttle. I get you, yeah.
Like,
Father, what's this? And you just scuttle away from your father like a crab?
No, not like that.
Okay, not quite a crab walk.
This isn't funny, Josh. This is serious shit.
It can be funny.
Anyway, but you know what I'm talking about, where you kind of bend low and like you kind of move, so like you're not that little bit of a stalking walk, like
remaining inconspicuous. Okay, yeah, I get you.
So it felt really weird.
This is funny.
It felt really weird, like doing that with a rifle. It felt very military. So kind of going, and I get behind a bush, and we use a kind of like, so I stay low. So we're staying low that whole time. And then when I finally lined up the shot, I shot her. I got it. But this is where everything kind of gets blurry. I'm going to be honest with you.
Like your eyes.
So I shoot her, and then I just hear my dad go, "Oh, we got a blood trail," which usually means like you injured the animal, like you didn't get a
blood trail.
Yeah, which at first when he said that, it was like, "Oh, you didn't get a kill zone shot. Like we got a blood trail, which means you injured the animal." That's like the worst thing I ever wanted to do was like injure the animal.
Yeah.
But he was wrong. He's like, "Oh, we got a blood trail," because that's just him freaking out. He's really amped up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, my dad realized that and it's true, women tend to be better shots, because testosterone isn't like amping us up.
Okay.
As much as like men. So like women tend, because like it's like almost, it's biological.
I want to see the science on that one, but okay.
It's kind of biological that like women don't have the same thing, that testosterone that surges through us to cause us to want to be aggressive, to want to kill. And so, and it makes them shake and so like I was able to stay calm. So
I get that feeling. Yeah, I can understand that actually.
So the thing is that the biggest thing my dad was teaching me is like, get ready for a second shot. Always be ready. Like you're not done once. Don't start celebrating on the first shot.
or yeah. Okay.
So I kind of see that I did hit her. I still see where she's in the scope. I kind of, without, I'm able to muscle memory, like lock in another, like pull back the bolt and put in, yes, exactly. Doesn't exactly sound like that, but put in another bullet and then she turns. So that at that point she walked she did walk, and it's normal for them to be able to walk a couple. What are you laughing about?
I'm kind of just laughing because she walked away. Did you say she turned toward? Oh, she turned around.
Yeah, so it's very normal, just for people, so people know, it's very normal for you to have gotten a kill zone shot, but for them to be able to walk a little bit.
Yeah.
Before they fall down. So it's not like
it's not like a stunned kind of effect.
Yeah. So like she walked like maybe like 4 or 5 feet, like just like a meter or something. And she stopped, but I could kind of see, and then I was blind, and it was crazy because I hit her one side, and then she turned around, and I hit her on the other side. And on that second shot, I was maybe like a little bit more calm because I could kind of tell like she's gonna go down anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was kind of like solidified in my brain that like I got this. And so you hear the rifle, but then it's true, you hear this and it's the first time I've ever experienced this sound in real life.
Was it anything like this? Damn, Brittany, what shells were you using? No, it wasn't. It obviously wasn't like that.
No, obviously I've heard a rifle shot off because that's what rifle
wasn't a rifle.
I mean,
what kind of rifles do you use?
I mean, I know what you're trying to. I know what you're trying to say, yeah. But I'm talking about the bullet hitting her body.
Oh, you heard that?
Sounds like kind of sounds like slapping wet mud.
Oh.
It's like, or like hitting, like taking like or like punching a punching bag.
Is it like this? Kind of like that?
It's like bigger sound than that, obviously. No, no, it's kind of like, it is like, it has like a weird, it has like that sound of like slapping mud.
Yeah, okay.
Or like smacking a punching bag.
And you hear that?
And you hear
from 100 yards?
50 yards.
50 yards. Okay. And so I mean,
and then at that point I just kind of lost sight a little bit in the scope, but because I was gonna line up for a third one just in case. Because
she was down at this point though.
Yeah, you'd have to ask my dad because at that point I really wasn't watching. It was kind of one of those weird things where we start just walking towards it, and I'm just kind of like, whoa. And as we got closer, I was like looking at my dad, and my dad was like giving me a high five, and he had like a big grin on his face and like tears in his eyes because he was just so proud. And I was like, as we started walking closer, I'm like, Dad, I'm probably gonna start crying. He's like, I know, it's okay. And it's a very weird feeling. Actually, to be honest with you, I had more adrenaline pumping that morning, seeing that herd and running around so quickly. Mm-hmm. Then in the afternoon, I was just very calm and I was very focused. And if anything, I'm glad my dad was there to help me, but it's kind of funny because he thought I had to be there to help me set up things. Like, I was faster than him getting down, and I was faster than him to react, to like start moving and where to move. And so he was very proud of me, and so that was kind of a cool experience. And yeah, it's not a light thing to take that, you know what I mean? There's so many,
I don't imagine it would be.
There was so many things that like I almost didn't fire at. I didn't even have, like, I had 2 different elk in my crosshairs that day. Yeah. And it's just like, you don't really, at that point, you don't really pick out. I happened to get a big elk. I wasn't going to shoot it because, sometimes you almost don't want to shoot a cow that's too small.
It's almost kind of like, you live, you die.
Because I think the other family, the boy who was like a 17, 18-year-old, he got a cow elk, but she was probably only a yearling. Probably only a
yearling,
like a year old.
Oh,
so she was like 50 pounds lighter than ours.
Yeah. Okay.
She's much smaller than ours.
So my final question, and then we're going to wrap up this bit.
Anyway, it was crazy.
My final question is: do you feel? And I don't mean to sound like NPR or something here, but do you feel any remorse in taking the life of this animal? And is it going to be put to good use? Brittany, go.
No, I don't feel remorse. And
okay.
After
I understand.
I kind of knew what I was getting myself into.
Well, yeah, you're going on a hunt.
And to be honest with you, because it was my first time, I had done all...
never forget your first time.
Go on.
Well, that's actually funny you say that, because my dad was like, as we were walking, he's like, she's not a virgin anymore. He's talking about the rifle.
Ew.
He's talking about the rifle.
I bet. He's like, I mean, if
my dad was so proud he came in his pants.
Oh! I didn't need to hear that.
I love my baby girl.
What's fucking wrong with you? I didn't need to hear that.
No, but to answer the question more seriously, no, that is what my dad said. Like, once a rifle has gotten...
She popped that cherry, boys.
If a rifle has made its first kill, you say it's not a virgin anymore.
Oh, that particular rifle, that was the first kill? You made your first kill with that particular rifle?
My dad got that rifle for this hunt.
You know he's probably going to bronze that rifle and put it above the mantelpiece?
He's not going to bronze that rifle.
And your mom's going to be like...
Although he was like, oh, we should have kept your brass from the 2 shots I made. Because, he uses the brass, but he's like, sometimes it's nice to have it as a souvenir. Like, these were the casings of the...
Interesting, and that leads me to that second
part. But it was a whole... Okay, anyway.
Yeah, that leads me to the second part.
It's a whole other story to talk about. All the work... That's the easy part. Then there was a lot of work after the
kill. That was my point, because is the animal going to be put to good use?
Yeah.
Are we getting a scary-ass rug in the next couple of weeks?
No.
Oh, okay.
I went purely on this hunt for... There's a reason why I didn't care about doing a cow hunt, okay? Because I'm interested in the meat not a trophy.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. And it's funny because there's some.
Are we getting meat out of it?
There's some. Yes.
Yeah.
There's kind of like some there's ways to distinguish between hunters. Like my dad has been on he's been on 2 African hunts.
Yeah,
and that is like where like you are, because like
he's built an economy in Africa basically.
But you know, the guys that we were hunting with, he's been hunting since he was little, hunting and fishing since he was little. He's never used a guide.
Excellent.
Do you know what I mean?
I get
Whereas
you,
my
yeah.
dad is the rich dentist who just pays
Periodontist.
Yeah. Well, I'm just kind of trying to live within the general range of the stereotype.
All right.
Because dentists and hunting kind of rich dentists hunting over in Africa is like a thing.
Let me see this root canal, but sorry,
Like, it's
I have
like-
a game
it's
of
a
golf
meme.
at 12, and then I have to fly to Africa to shoot a few creatures.
Anyway, but like, I mean, the guy that helped us find our elk, you know, he's not a professional guide or something. He's just a guy who does this. Has been doing this whole life, and he's the same age as my dad, so he's been around for a while, you know.
Yeah.
So he But he was like,
all right.
He's like, he kind of thinks it's a little. He's like, kind of thinks it's cheating to have a guide.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like that's part of hunting. Is like everything you do to like study the pattern of the animals, go glassing, put out camera traps so you can find them. So like he's for over a decade, for 20 years, he knows the lay of the land, and he knows. So he's a true hunter in that sense, and
Excellent.
he told my dad I wouldn't want to do one of those African hunts because it's not hunting, it's killing.
Wow.
And he said that
Okay.
because it's just sometimes because
That's what we have to say to him. It's not hunting, it's murder.
no,
Boo.
hunting
Boo.
it's killing because
Yeah.
there's no thrill of the hunt to it, because a lot of times it can be like your guide will drive you out, you're never too far away from your Jeep, and sometimes you can take a shot like
From
while
your
you're
Jeep.
still sitting in the vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, and I kind of get that, like
Okay.
I kind of get that too, like, but you know.
Okay. Understandable. Yeah.
So even between hunters,
Yeah,
they have different opinions about things.
We as hunters have different codes of ethics.
What I mean by that is a lot of people are interested in the trophy hunting, getting the mounts and things like that.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I like bow-
Ivory hunters.
Well, actually, I only learned this after the fact. There is elk ivory. They have actually teeth that aren't teeth. They're actually tusk-like teeth that people pull out of.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't take them, but
I
that's
didn't want to
okay.
know that, but I do want to know, since the
I at
animal
least
will
got to see what they looked like, though.
since the animal will be fully harvested and all of it will be put to good use.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll get your bullets back?
My bullets back. Oh, well.
Well, the animal's not made of paper mache.
Can I talk about the bullet?
We do have to move on very
okay,
quickly.
but can
so
I
make
talk
this
about
quick.
the bullet? So, my dad recently has been using what are called burger bullets.
Okay.
And yes, we're going to get some tasty elk burgers out of it because of it. But yeah, they're called burger bullets. And the whole thing is that all the energy from there's a lot of science to the ballistic of a bullet, and my dad specifically like loads his own ammo because
He shoots his own
factory
loads. It's really good.
Yeah, he shoots his own loads.
Yeah.
I shoot his load.
Okay. Stop that applause right there because I didn't want
Why
to know.
did we keep talking about my dad and his and like arousal and?
Cause it's funny.
But
Anyway.
Okay, so the bullets, yes.
So there's no exit wound on these, and there shouldn't be.
Well, there shouldn't be. It's
So all
it's
the
a cow elk.
no, it's very common for high powered rifles to have. No, sorry.
Whoa!
Like
To do that. to do that. Okay.
to have like massive like softball size exit wounds on stuff.
Oh, really? God.
Yeah. But with a burger bullet, what it does is it goes in and it just breaks apart all
it's
inside
a dum-dum. It's basically a dum-dum.
It breaks up all inside of it.
Yeah, shrapnel. Dum-dum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
And
I get
then
them.
and then my dad said this is like, actually, if you were to see it slow down, because the skin.
We don't need to know. We don't need to see that. Go on.
Actually, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't need to see it.
Or
even, I don't
so
even
no,
want to
you
visualize
would
it
you would find
personally.
just a little bump. We didn't find the bullet, but you just find a little bump on the other side of the skin.
Oh, jeez.
And he said he's shot like a coos deer, which is really Coos deer are really tiny.
Like
there wasn't an exit wound on that animal either. So it really is designed to release all its energy within the animal.
So basically, we don't get the bullets back.
No, the bullet would be smushed.
Okay.
What you would want back is
the head of the elk that I shot.
I mean, and that's why you have to get your shot right, because if you hit a gut shot, then you just explode all anyway. But no, the thing that's about their skin being really tough on once they get to the other side of the animal and their skin, it actually could stretch out about a foot before it snaps back.
Oh my god. All right. Okay.
It's really cool.
We are really.
I actually had to do stuff to study about where to depending on how they're standing, like where you take the shot, and it's a pretty You definitely have to.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I gotta say, I gotta hand it to you. You got some set of balls on you to do that. I couldn't do it. How was that for a story, folks? My God, straight out of darkest, deepest Winslow, Arizona.
It's a little bit of a weird thing but granted, my dad didn't start hunting again until I was out of high school.
A real different kind of Brits bit for you this week, I guess. But Brittany, thank you actually for relating that story. It's interesting. It really is. It's interesting to hear.
I like trying new things and having new adventures.
Right. As long as you don't get into homicide, I'm good with that. Now, let's move on because we have a couple of other things to get to before we close out the show. And this is the part of the show that we do call Pressing the Presses. Play that music for me, maestro. Oh, a little louder than I thought it would be. Yes, so we're going through a couple of stories from the news this week. A couple of quick ones. We're going to have to make it kind of quick, but I think the story that's on everybody's lips right now. I really whistled through my teeth on that when I heard that. So the big story that's on everybody's mind right now, I think, is
through your teeth.
Yeah, through my teeth. Yeah. But, Jeffrey Toobin. Lubin with Toobin. Let that one sink in. Speaking of old men shoozing into their pants, Jeffrey Toobin, he was a New York writer and a CNN correspondent. He's currently on suspension after accidentally exposing himself.
Yeah, it seems a little
Zoom
weird.
Brittany, you read into the story a little bit. I'd like for you to kind of maybe set the scene, I guess, for what happened. So
they were on a Zoom call with other New Yorker writers, right? That work for the New Yorker, and they were doing some sort of mock presidential election thing.
I believe it was called an erection stimulation.
No, it was called an election simulation.
No, erection stimulation. I'm using that from now on.
But it was election simulation that caused him to be erectile stimulated. For whatever reason, it was so bad my car didn't even crash. I hit the button. Yeah, go on. Good, because that all was just really just. So let's. Anyway, so two people that were on the call said that it sounds like it was only a brief moment, and what it sounds like to me is that he was on a laptop, and that once they saw the camera move down, saw him he was touching his penis. And then he left the call, and they got back on sometime later, almost like they were taking a break, and they got back on, and as if he was kind of just acting like as if nothing happened because he didn't know. He thought his apparently he stuck his thing on mute and thought that had blocked his screen or something. I know. I think it's so funny as somebody that's very used to video calls and things like that at this point. At this point, yeah. You have two. I don't know what they were using. If they were on Skype, what were they on? I don't know what Skype is like. Well, this was Zoom. Oh, Zoom. Sorry. Yeah. So I mean, basically, yeah. But anyway, it's pretty easy. There's three buttons, three main buttons. You have your in your call, you have turn off your camera, and you have turn off your mic. And it's really obvious when you know. Well, turn off your camera. If you're gonna masturbate, I mean, you want to turn off that camera. Yeah. You know, so it's like, yeah, but he thought watch me masturbate in silence. He thought that when he had his camera on mute, And so he said, no, that's what he said. He said, I thought I had my camera on my video on mute. I'm like, that doesn't even make fundamentally any sense.
Let's see what he says
here. You'd say, like,
here.
you have it off. He says mute.
I believed I was not visible on Zoom. I thought no one on the Zoom call could see me. I thought I had muted the Zoom call. Say Zoom again. Say Zoom again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Another swear word there. Yeah, no, I mean, that doesn't excuse... As you're whipping out the old whole hog there to...
Yeah, would you do that in a real meeting?
Yeah, what are you doing? I was like, so what do you think of this Sure, what do you think of this quarter's statistics? They're good. Yes, they're very good. Funny, it looks like they're going down here. Oh, no, they're good. They're good. It's like, stop. What are you doing, you freak? Who masturbates during a meeting? I don't care if you're on Zoom. Keep your dick in your pants. Go to the bathroom like any other normal man. Masturbate in there.
And so you do it at work?
Well, you don't... No. But it's just no. But don't masturbate at work. What are you doing masturbating at work? Don't masturbate anywhere where there might be a camera watching. Go to the bathroom, look in the mirror with shame, and go... either because my wife doesn't love me or I can't get a girlfriend. One of those things. Do it like men do. Sadly, alone in a bathroom with no cameras present. And if there's a camera in your bathroom, you're a sick fuck. Because we know why that camera's in that bathroom. Don't we, men? Why are you whipping your dick out anywhere around the computer? Brittany, are you going to whip your breasts out? in any...
I happen to get a new... So I happen to get a new work laptop, and I mean our computer monitor doesn't have, my old laptop didn't have a camera on it. My computer we have now doesn't have a camera on it. Well, it does now.
Well, it does now.
And the weird thing is when I first got my work laptop, and it still does it from occasion, where this like weird filter thing will go over it, like a lens cap. Oh. And then it had, so I thought like, oh, they just didn't, and they don't have a camera on this work laptop. And then one day you came in, I was working on something, I happened to have that open, and I was working from the other computer. Yes. And I did flash you, and you go, hey, you should not be doing that in front of your work laptop.
You shouldn't be doing that.
And then I go, well, but the camera's not working. And then I look over and I see the film. I see the little lens cap thing had
kind of winking at you.
No, had flipped all the way, and now it wasn't there anymore. And I go, wait, what? And it's my first time having it. And I get on there and I do a little test. I do a little test Google Meet, and I was like, oh my gosh, the camera was like there was a camera wasn't on.
Yeah,
but
you
know how we
turned it on, but you freaked out thinking, oh my god, this was probably on. We've all had that moment.
Not that it was on, just that the lens was opened.
Yeah.
And I know we all have. I know we all have the feeling that even when a camera's not on, that you should be weary of it.
Yeah.
Because even if you're not actively in a call or you're not actively recording it,
there's a reason people put tape over their lens.
Yeah. So, I mean, I ever since I've had other laptops, but the only thing that kind of creeps me out is like your phone.
The phone. But the phone's always listening. It's always charting everything you do. It follows you.
I'm like,
I've turned all my location services off.
So paranoid that I was like gonna get an email. I'm like, there's no way that like every minute of the day that someone's scanning, like they're not looking through the like. I was just getting so paranoid because like you had me freaked out. You're like, you just flash your tits in front of your work computer with a camera on it. But anyway, this what this sounds like to me is like they were getting ready to take a break. So it sounds like he was on his laptop and he must have thought, oh cool, we have a 10-minute break, 5-minute break. He's an old man, maybe 3 minutes, who knows? Yeah. They go, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and he's like, oh perfect, and he just like starts to whip out his dick just to start kind of like. Because he wanted to masturbate during that break. Yeah. And then. But
why? Why?
Because he just what is on the other side?
What is on the screen when you're on a Zoom call that is so sexy that you need to go and boink one out?
Maybe he.
It doesn't make sense.
Maybe he
makes no sense.
Maybe
I've seen the pictures of the women he was with, by the way.
Maybe he forgot maybe it wasn't. That doesn't have anything to do with it. When you're horny, you're horny. You know. You could be You could be sitting in math class and you just kind of get horny. No, but
2 and 2 is.
he may have forgotten about the meeting and took Viagra earlier, and he was gonna have a fun afternoon, and
This Zoom meeting brought to you by Blue Chew and Viagra, Cialis and Blue Chew. There you go.
You said it Blue Chew twice.
I know. We're going to move on to the next story here because we are.
But anyway, he must have, like I said, he definitely had it on a laptop because, and it's not like he was intentionally flashing them when he left it on. It's just that when he tilted down his laptop, they saw it. It sounds like it was a brief moment.
So, moral of the story is, if you are in a room with a camera, don't whip it out and start playing with your sticky wicket. Well, it'll be sticky by the end, but don't do that. Just don't. Just, again, as I said, bathroom, closed door, lock. There you go. Done.
All right, that was a fun story.
Well, we are moving on pretty quickly. We do kind of have to get on to this.
Just like how quickly he was going to move during that break because he wanted...
Hey-oh! This next one, I think you'll find quite beguiling. So this final story is, and again, we had more for you, but we kind of do have to move on because we are so late with this. We're late.
Then why are you wasting 30 seconds to talk about how late we're going and how quickly you need
because
to
I'm trying to get the next story up. This one kind of related to shooting. Brittany, here's a question for you.
There was one word I didn't use about when you were asking me the question as you're pulling up the video. I meant to say that when you were talking about do I feel any remorse, I wanted to say I didn't feel any remorse, but you do. There is a reverence to it. Did I say that?
It doesn't really matter now at this point, but here's a question.
I fucking hate you.
Here's a question now. After shooting something, that was big, kind of slow moving, and about 150 yards, whatever it was, away from you. Let's see how you feel about this statement here, made by presidential hopeful Joe Biden.
We can do this. You can ban chokeholds. But beyond that, you have to teach people how to de-escalate circumstances. De-escalate. So instead of anybody coming at you and the first thing you do is shoot to kill, you shoot them in the leg. There's ways you have to do more background checks in terms of whether or not...
Shoot him in the leg. Come on, man. Shoot him in the leg.
No, that's not
at
good
all
either, because if you shoot him in the leg, then you just agitate someone. If they have a weapon, then you're dead.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay.
I've seen videos of cops putting 7 to 8 rounds. I've seen cops put a clip into a guy, and he just kept on coming. He had to be taken down with nearly 12 shots. I've seen that thing. Could you imagine the litigation? Could you imagine you're a cop. Somehow, this guy is rushing you. Under all that stress, you manage to just go into the leg. And he goes down. And for some reason, he doesn't get back up again. You're able to cuff him. You're going to be brought to court. You're going to be brought to court. The way that like cops are treated in this country in certain places now, you will be brought to court and you will lose. And you will lose your job. You'll lose your pension. You probably you'll lose your livelihood completely, I would say. All because, come on, man, shoot him in the leg. That's all you gotta do.
You look like a Muppet when you said that.
I know, because I had to throw my face a certain way. Shoot him in the leg. Brittany, how hard is it to hit steel when it's, we'll say 50 yards away with no pressure, no stress?
That's 25 yards.
Whatever
away.
It is. It could be a little, you can miss easily with your first shot. Can't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about your second shot, huh? What do you think? Come on, what do you think? I know for myself, I'll generally miss with my first.
Yeah, but
maybe hit with my second.
Target.
Yeah, it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's not moving, and it's just standing there. You got to aim low, shoot in the leg. While this person...
That's a movie thing, by the way. That's a movie tactic.
Well,
it's like,
yeah.
Oh, here's a warning shot, and he shoots someone, take someone's knee out. I'm
actually reminded of Speed. I was like, all right, pop quiz, hot shot. It's like, there's a gunman with a hostage. He's getting onto a plane. You're 50 yards away. What do? Shoot her in the leg. What? Dead weight. He can't move her anymore. You're out of your mind. You know that. And then later on, like Dennis Hopper has Jeff Daniels by the neck, and he's like, shoot the hostage. And it's like, shoots the hostage in the leg. He's you fuck. And it's like, well, I mean, that's not a moving target. This isn't coming at you with an intent to harm you. That's the difference. Shoot him in the leg. Shoot him in the leg.
Okay, say it one more time, Josh, please.
Brittany, shoot him in the leg. Shoot that. You know what you should have done? You should have shot that cow elk in the leg. What are the odds do you think you could have gotten that guy in the leg? Do you think you would have been calm if that whole entire thing was running at you?
No, if I shot in the leg, it would have ran off and then it would have died very slowly.
Wait, it would die from shooting in the leg?
Probably, yeah.
Wow. Okay, that I wouldn't have really thought. I mean,
yeah.
just a leg, like. But okay, maybe. And it would have died slowly, yes. So, shoot him in the leg. Shoot him in the leg.
God,
Oh
okay,
my
for
God.
the
I am
fuck's sake, do not say it again.
I'm angry because this is stupidity. This is stupid. Center mass. If you are under any sort of duress, you have to aim center mass because it's life and death at that point. This is ridiculous. Shoot him in the leg. Go fuck yourself, Joe Biden. That's what I say for that. That is stupid. Stupidity personified.
Thank you for your insightful commentary. Anyway.
Thank you. I'm going to move on now because actually I've just made myself incredibly angry.
Oh, I was going to talk about a few things.
Well, okay, no, absolutely, go ahead.
Well, a couple of things I thought of. If you want to have a really bad time, I can't really remember the title of the name of the person, but it is a JCS criminal psychology, and it's one of his 25-minute episodes when the thumbnail has guys in the Vietnam War. So it's about this Vietnam vet who kind of goes, he's kind of crazy and he has PTSD. Mm-hmm. There's a really, really sad dash cam footage where this officer had every right. You're kind of watching it and he's terrified. And all of a sudden, no, he's terrified. And it's kind of like a weird, at first it kind of seems like the vet wants a suicide by cop kind of thing. Death by cop. But then all of a sudden you see his body language changes and then he goes into killing mode. And he kills that officer. And apparently...
Officer should have taken the shot.
Yeah, there were times where he's like, drop the weapon! Drop the weapon! And it's actually like...
Horrifying.
It's actually like bone-chillingly terrifying to watch and hear, because sometimes you're not even seeing the officer, but you just hear how fearful he is in his voice. And I think and this was like some time ago. This was like in the 80s. I can't remember. Yeah. But anyway, it's an interesting video. But that's kind of just part of what the video is about. And that you're watching that and you're like, he should have killed him. Yeah. Like he should. Well. So but. Anyway, that's all it was making me think of. Like, so if you want to have a bad time, go ahead and watch that. And apparently the narrator says, if you want to watch, this isn't, we've taken out, we haven't shown you all the footage here. This is where you can go. But it's almost like, from what I saw, I was like, no, thank you. Yeah. Anyway, another thing.
I just want to say this. Okay, actually, no, you go ahead, and I'll finish up, actually, what I was going to say.
Well, go ahead. No,
I'm good. Actually, I think mine probably be a better finish.
I'm going to move on to something different.
No, what were you going to say?
No, I'm going to move on to something different. That's it. I just said if you want to have a bad time, watch that.
Okay, fair enough.
An officer
not
taking lethal action soon enough.
I'm just going to say that when it comes to the cops doing their jobs, none of us have a even close to an idea what doing the police job is. Unless you are actually in it, you don't know the stress. You don't want that. Could you imagine going out every day to work and not knowing if you're going to come home tonight because some psycho is out there? And if you are those politicians who are out there hamstringing our cops, look, there are good cops and bad cops, but the good cops really outweigh the bad cops.
On Zoom calls.
No, that's Toobin. Lubin with Toobin on 96.3. The Weed. Anyway. Yeah, I am 100% behind the cops. I think there's a bit of need for a bit of reform in there. But you know what? Yeah. Don't hamstring them. Let them do their jobs. I don't want dead cops. I don't want dead civilians. But you know what? If we don't have cops, we're going to have dead civilians because we're going to end up shooting the shit out of each other. And that's the way it is. So you know what? Get behind your men in blue. Let them do their jobs. That's what I say. And if you have a problem with that, you can come up here and kiss my ass. And I say that straight out to all of you. And if you want to be like, cops are brutal, man, go fuck yourself. Don't listen to me. Go fuck yourself. That's what I say. I'm behind my men in blue. I'm behind any man will have me, baby. I'm behind my cops. I'm behind my law enforcement. I believe in law and order. Simple. And believe me, if they're not there to protect me and my family, I'll be there to protect my family. And believe me, I won't be shooting you in the leg. I'm just saying that. Very, very simple. I'll protect myself. It's what this great Second Amendment's about, isn't it, people? The Second Amendment. Great thing. Brittany used it the other day to bag herself an elk. It was wonderful. Brittany, you had one final thing to add to that, or another topic? I might be done with that.
I don't know why. When you're talking to your mic, it's like as if you are talking down to somebody.
I'm actually talking up to the mic technically, but I'll talk down to you. Listen to me.
Like you're just... Okay, enough with your angry Irishman rant.
I got it out there. That felt good. That was cathartic.
No, yeah, okay.
That was cathartic. Shut up. That was cathartic.
All right. Well, no, I mean, it's kind of it is interesting because my dad said one of his coworkers said that he had a patient the other day that was she was like the head of SWAT, Phoenix SWAT or something.
Oh wow. Okay, cool.
And so he asked her what her opinion was on all this defunding the police, and she said it's about time. And so he was like, really?
What?
And so she's like no, there's a lot of like, and I think you're right, there's definitely room for some reform.
Well, get the bad cops out is what I say. Yeah.
And she was talking about there really are a lot of issues with over aggressiveness, hotheads.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Racism, and I mean, I think she's a black. I think she was a black woman. She was but she's head of SWAT. She was head of SWAT. I think she's, and that's how I land. The truth lands about in the middle. So
I guess you could say it might be a gray area.
Yeah, the truth, that's not what we're calling it.
But I know it's not what we are anymore.
Land in the middle, but I do not believe that something like completely defunding the police is a solution to the problem.
No, it is not. It never will be.
So it's finding the correct solution.
Neither will shooting them in the leg.
It's not about establishing that there's a problem. No one's denying that there is a problem. But it is about...
It's a minimal problem. It can be easily reformed.
The truth lands in the middle, and you don't have to try and find the appropriate logical solution to the problem that is present. The other thing is, since we're ending the episode, I'll just give a shout out.
All right.
Checking out things that are non-lethal and a way to de-escalate a situation. There is some new technology being implemented, and they're called bolo wraps.
Ooh.
And they look really highly effective. They look like something like straight out of like something like off of like Batman's tool belt.
All based on currently existing technology, of course.
Yeah, no, they look really efficient.
Cool.
Basically shoot
bolo.
I mean,
it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we all know what it is, but like, it's.
Yeah. No. Cool. So, Brittany, really, I mean, it's actually good to have you. It's good to be back. I did a live show on the weekend. It's a different beast when you're doing it live and when you're on a camera. It's scary. This is so much more comfortable for me at the moment. I think live, it's what you were saying about testosterone earlier.
Yeah.
I think women might be easier doing it live too than I was, because my testosterone. I might have had a heap and help of coffee right before the show.
Maybe that's why there's cam girls and not cam guys.
I'm sure there's cam guys. You can research that.
Can you show me?
Would you mind researching that for me, please?
For you?
No. for our.
Why don't you just get Grindr?
Ew. No, thank you. Actually, I'd love a grinder right now. A big sandwich. Yummy.
That's not what we call it here. What part of the country do they call them grinders?
Like Pennsylvania or something?
Like New England
Pennsylvania.
Like New England
Bleh.
area? What?
Pennsylvania. Bleh.
Oh,
I want to eat your grinder.
If you liked Hill House, definitely watch Bly Manor.
We will actually get onto that on Saturday. I was hoping we were going to talk about that tonight, but we are really out of time now. Brittany, thank you for relating a very interesting story. I mean, it's very, very cool.
My dad's very proud.
Cool.
My mom thinks I've turned to the dark side.
Yes, come to the dark inside.
She did say, well, how does it feel to be a murderer?
How did it feel to be a murderer?
Anyway, that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Thank you very much for listening to the West of Waterford podcast. Like, share, subscribe if you like what you heard. Follow me on Twitter, Josh Mulcahy4. Brittany doesn't have anything to follow, and she likes her privacy just like that. Me, I'm abrasive. Yeah, abrasive on Twitter.
You're a real prick.
I blocked my uncle. I actually did. I blocked my uncle. For Skeletor for our ending song. Anyway, that's it from me. That's it from Brit on the couch. Thank you very much, folks. Have a good night. Have a blessed evening. And until next time, keep watching the skies.
DM me for some elk meat. We have too much.
DM her to milk her. Lovely. Bye.